I'm Reba Holly. I'm the moderator tonight. Please share your views on gun ownership and gun laws in the United States.
My children had a situation where there was a lockdown situation because of a threat, and they had to do the whole gun drill and be taken out with snipers, and I have a daughter with anxiety.
I agree that we need to have expanded background checks and that our computer system that we have for our gun registry has to be improved. No doubt. We need this system to be working effectively and efficiently, and it needs to be consolidated to one place. I also think that perhaps we should consider the idea of increasing the age at which people can purchase firearms, just like we have thought about things like alcohol. In fact, in order to rent a car, you have to be 25 years old. And I know that this is very controversial, but when you look at some of the gun violence that goes on, especially among men, it is in men that are 25 and under. So that is something that I would consider that we think about. Yes, domestic violence is a problem. And one of the things I'm really passionate about that nobody ever talks about is bringing the issue of family law to a federal level, because the idea of getting a restraining order is not so easy in New Jersey. It is not as easy as you think it is. Tamara Seidel is a woman who attempted to get a restraining order against her husband. There was a history of domestic violence and abuse, and he was a police officer in Asbury, Neptune. And she was shot in front of her daughter. But for the most part, as far as I know and the research that I've done, those people that do conceal carry, for the most part, are law-abiding citizens and tend not to abuse that privilege. And it is a privilege that we should be aware of. And so that's it. Thank you. I'm not comfortable having anybody with a gun in school, because we all know that a gun can end up in the wrong hands. And as a parent, how can I not? I want to send my child to school and know that they're going to come home safe. And the idea of anybody having a gun in their hands, can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. Because I teach, I speak loud. The idea of guns being anywhere where a kid can accidentally get a hold of it, someone puts it down and somebody else grabs it, is frightening to me. You know, I was just in Texas a week ago speaking at a conference, and when I went to a TV station there's a sign, no guns allowed. When you go to the shopping malls, it says no guns allowed. It seems like a no-brainer that guns should not be allowed in school, right? So, you know, for me, that is something that I don't want to see more guns in school. And I have friends that are teachers, and they don't want to learn how to use a gun. They don't want to be responsible for a gun, and they want to know that they can go to work and they can be safe. And I want my kids to go to school and be safe, and I want everybody else's kids and grandchildren here to go to school and be safe. Well, lucky for you, I'm an independent thinking Republican. Clearly, right? And the fact that I had initially started this campaign and was willing to go head-to-head with Chris Smith, I think really shows you I'm not afraid. You want a job done? Send a woman to do it. Yep. I'm an old school Republican. I'm not the current Republican. When you look at sort of a bell curve in science, you look at the bell curve, you've got, this bell, you've got people on the left and on the right. That's what's in office right now. I'm in the middle with everybody else. There's going to have to be compromise by everybody. And I agree there should be campaign finance reform, for sure. And I think a lot of organizations should not be spending their money and influence and buying influence in Washington. But again, term limits, campaign finance reform are ways to stop that from becoming a problem. So send a Jersey girl to Washington and you'll get the job done. Again, I'd also like to thank Moms Demand Action for having me here today. I've been a lifelong volunteer. I'm not a politician. I have been the president of every organization I've been a member of, though, so I will say that. So clearly people like me. And I've been able to be effective and do the thing. No, I don't mean it like that. I just mean there's something about a personality of a leader that bubbles up that you become a leader.
And I've been a doer in my community. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to rat out one of my friends. I don't know how many years Eric and I have known each other. Over 20 years, we used to volunteer at a camp for children and families with HIV. When you were afraid to touch somebody with HIV, I used to take my vacation to go work at a camp in an undisclosed location, and we gave kids and families the best week of their life. And that is who I am. Many funerals, and I'm so glad that we don't do that anymore and that things have changed. I want to go to Washington and I want to make a difference. And I want to tell those career politicians it's enough. And one thing that I want to do right away is get an amendment with term limits so that there are restrictions. So that we don't have the problems that we have in government where one side becomes more powerful than the other, or one person or one group is more powerful than the other. So I thank you, God bless you all, and I wish you all lots of health and good things going forward. And again, I'll be there in November. And with both of you, I hope we can all be civil. Because one thing I've learned in doing media is that positive messaging is always more effective. So. Great, thank you. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Thank you. Let your friends know. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you. JJ Mistricker. JJ Mistricker. I know both Jim and Josh, but I was looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you.
And very, very pleasantly surprised.
I so appreciate it. Tell me your name. Amelia. So nice to meet you. Thank you.